everyone. Thanks for watching the CB vlog here on YouTube. If you like the show and you like the channel, go down and hit subscribe. It'd really help us out. If you want to help make things, if you really love the channel, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/commandersbrew. You can help make this show. You can help make the deck text. You can help make Battle of the Brews, and it's all over there. You'll get access to the Discord, early elements, all that kind of stuff. But let's get into it, and let's talk about this week's topic on the CB vlog. Okay, so yeah, the main topic this week, I wanted to talk about a little bit of like a level up type of thing, a little bit of a thing to help with some gameplay. And honestly, it's because I've been watching a little bit of Survivor lately. It's a little inspired by that, but some cool lessons and like a similar thing going on in Commander, I think. And it's all about laying low, right? It's all about flying under the radar a little bit, right? Even feigning weakness at times. These are all sort of in the same realm of stuff. So basically, the idea goes, you don't want to be the most threatening player at the board early on in the game, right? Because everyone's got their stuff, everyone's got their answers, everyone's got, you know, the things that they can do, and the first person to come out as being really threatening, well, they're probably going to draw the ire of the majority of the rest of the board, right? The rest of the board's going to say, well, we're not going to let you win, obviously, and then they're going to take them down, and then that person there is at a disadvantage from that point on. So appearing low, flying under the radar, is going to allow you to let everyone else use their resources to take out that front runner, and you'll be using some too. It's not doing nothing. That's a very important distinguishing feature. But we're going to let other people expend their resources while we're sort of secretly building up our board as well, but not seeming too threatening. And then at some point we're going to turn the corner, and then we're going to like put the pedal down and really try and run our game up and try and win. And this is a good strategy. You know, I think this is overall something a lot of people try to do. For me, I definitely noticed a change in games that I was playing in when I started to do this, when I started to understand exactly what spells to like hold back and things like that, and what things to not do versus when you have to do them. So I found that like a very important lesson. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. And yeah, let's like get some of the ideas of it out there. Sean, is this something you do? Do you ever do this?
You know what? I don't think I do this nearly enough. I think I'm hoping to learn a lot from this discussion. I'm hoping to get some takeaways here. It occurs to me that I mostly just take that limited lesson of maximize your mana. Like I'm probably going to do the things that like, or like engine pieces that further me. Like I'm always kind of running at like near top speed, I think. And I guess what that does is there are times I'm probably naturally not the front runner just because of how the cards are lining up. And like those games I do very well, but I could do a better job at engineering it so I seem to be not the front runner.
Yeah, and that's the key, right? Perception is everything.
Yeah.
You can actually still be playing very powerful things to, you know, according to your deck, but the perception is that like people won't even really care about them. Sequencing, ordering, all this type of stuff it's all important. So let's get right into it. So one of the main ways you sort of lay low, fly under the radar, is to hold back, right? You don't want to play everything out right away. You want to hold back a little bit. Holding back powerful spells early in the game is usually going to be pretty easy because a lot of times those spells cost a lot, or you need some of the things on the battlefield to really make it happen, make it, you know, more effective for you. So it's going to be pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do that. But it's to say, like, you don't need to run it out immediately. The second you have the mana for it, you don't need to run out that, you know, kicked right of replication. Yes, kicked right of replication a lot of times can win you the game on the spot. Fair. But sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't, there's no real reason to run that out. Mind you, that's like turn 9. But like a board wipe. Board wipe's the best example, I think. You hit your board wipe on turn 4, 5, or 6, whatever it is, and your opponents have some stuff out. You don't need to just run that out right away. And most people don't, right? Because that's you spending the card to deal with everything, and then everyone's going to be able to catch back up right away. So hold that back, because if you are even in need of a board wipe, a lot of times someone else will be able to find one. Or maybe someone else at the table already has it in their hand. And that's what you want to do. You want to get everyone else to use their resources before you use yours. This can involve being sneaky politically. This can involve straight up lying and saying you don't have it. I, you know, also, I think that's fair game, you know, within this game. to do that sort of stuff to indicate that you don't have a spell that you actually do have. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
People are going to call you on it later if they can, and you just got to be ready for that, just like anything. But just be aware with how you do it. You don't want to burn any bridges permanently.
Oh man, I think there's also another way to like get super far ahead early is if you're like turn 1 island, Sol Ring, Signet, go. That is an explosive turn. This is why Sol Ring gets these fast mana cards get the reputation that they have. But like it doesn't matter what happens for the rest of that game. The table will remember you had 4 mana on turn 1 like 4 mana on the board on turn 1. That's unforgettable. Even if they arch enemy up and they destroy some stuff, like you'll always wear that mark. So just hold Sol Ring back. Like you don't have to, or your other ramp spells. Like some ramp spells, like no one really cares about a Signet on turn 2, and people probably don't care about a Sol Ring on turn 5. But if that lets you go, like on turn 5, Sol Ring into another big thing, you can slip Sol Ring in anywhere on your mana curve. Like it works that way.
Exactly, that's the beauty of it. And I think like there's diminishing attention paid attention to Sol Ring as like farther you go. So like turn 1, everyone notices. Turn 2, like half the table or 3/4 of the table notices. Turn 3, no one really cares. It goes away really quickly.
Yeah.
And the beauty of Sol Ring, like you were saying, is that you play it and it generates mana, so you still get to actually play the thing of that mana cost of like the lands you had or whatever, right? So it's really great to be able to slip in. And a lot of times, like you play Sol Ring on turn 1 and then not have anything to do the next turn or even that turn. So it's like, don't bother. Don't draw that hate. And you think that maybe that goes without saying, but I think a lot of times we're just very excited, to get our play out and like, oh, what if I draw something that I can play? And that's true, but like I think you'll be better for holding it, waiting. Maybe someone else plays their Sol Ring. Maybe, and once that's happened, then I think you're okay because then you're no longer drawing any kind of ire because someone else did it first.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sol Ring's a good one to slip in a little later. And like you said, still develop your board. Just remember, laying low is not doing nothing. Still play the Signet on turn 2. Guess what? That's not anything notable at all. Play Rampant Growth on turn 2. Who cares? No one's going to notice that. No one cares. But you're still developing your board. You're not doing nothing. I wrote here in the notes, it says no early moves. And it's not nothing. It's just you don't need to provide answers early in the game, right? You don't need to provide moves against someone super early in the game, unless obviously they're like coming at you super hard and they've got some axe to grind against you for a previous game or something like that. Sometimes people will force your hand. But unless your hand is getting forced, there's no real reason to remove a big threat early in the game. Let that threat live there. Let that threat draw attention to that player. Because now you're going to be able to, develop your board a little bit. Maybe someone else is going to be able to deal with that thing because it's going to seem more threatening to their game. So that's like kind of at the heart of this, is letting everyone else use their resources. You don't necessarily need to get rid of that right away. Let this player get ahead a little bit. If it's early, sometimes that's going to be way better for the remaining 3 of you to team up and take him out. And finally, the main thing.
Yeah, maybe don't play your commander right away.
Right.
Like you don't. Even if your commander is I would even say if your commander is highly synergistic, right? Like maybe that's a great reason not to play it right away and then just start generating value. People notice that sort of stuff. And if your commander doesn't show up for a little while, that's not a problem. People will look at that as like, oh yeah, you guess what? You will always be able to cast your commander later. That's the whole point of the command zone. So like, you holding back your commander is the easiest move.
Yeah, and I think that with the commander, like no one's going to really blame you super hard for playing your commander or anything. Don't get me wrong. It's just that if there's an empty board and no one's been able to do anything and you play you're the first person to get your commander out there, that's going to draw some attention, right? So perhaps even just letting someone else get their commander out first or doing something else instead so that you're not the first person to do it can be beneficial. It can also be more beneficial sometimes to actually get your commander out there. But I'm saying just entertain the possibility of, you know what, I'm going to play this 3 mana ramp thing instead of my 4 mana commander on turn 4. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to run it out right away, especially if you've got nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
especially if you're just hoping that some synergy will come down like next turn, or it's kind of like the Soul Ring thing.
Right, and a lot of committers have a lot of value engines tied to them. That's why we use them. So like that's the value is what makes it scary. So just don't put that much the perception of value on the table.
And there are exceptions. Don't get us wrong here. We're not saying never play your commander as soon as you can. There are definitely times when that is the optimal play. That is the thing to do. We'll talk about that in a second, though.
Yeah,
but
right, we just want you to be aware of
low.
we want you to be aware of the image that sends.
Exactly. And appearing weak. This is another thing. It's very similar to just simply holding back, but appearing weak is more deception involved. Taking a hit when you don't have to. Passing a turn when you don't have to. You might want to be leaving up. You still might want to leave your possibilities open as far as like activated abilities and maybe an instant or something like that in your hand. But passing a turn when you could have played something can sometimes, appear. You can appear frustrated or whatever. That can go a long way for lowering your profile in the game. I don't think I would ever purposefully hold back a land, especially early in the developing stages of the game. That's like the key. That's like the biggest one you could probably do. People are like, oh man. And I've heard people talking about like not playing a land on turn 2 to try and appear weak.
Whoa.
I think that's going a little too far. I think no one is going to no one's going to think you're too powerful because you played a land on turn 2. You know what I mean? It's what you do with those lands. So I think you always play your lands. I actually think most of the times you always play stuff if you can, but it's not going to be the end of the world if you pass a turn and hold up just some other thing that you might not even end up doing. I think that's fine. But all this leads to a moment, right? This will all lead to a moment where we are trying to win, so we need to turn the corner at some point. What are some good times for us to do that?
I mean, the best time, and they're sort of built this way, is right after a board wipe. A lot of our board wipe spells are sorcery speed, and they effectively make the caster take the turn off. We're happy to run them because of the value. Like sometimes that's the only answer to a big problem. So of course we're going to run them, but the next player often gets to go first, and we're happy to be that next player if we've been sandbagging a nice threat creature or artifact, or especially creature. I mean, because it would have died if we hadn't done that. So this is great. Now we have that on the board, and we have it down first. That's a great position to be in. Great position to be in.
And again, you're not doing nothing in these opening turns. You're just playing perhaps a tiny bit suboptimally, right? You've developed your board. You've definitely still played a few creatures because you kind of want to bait out that first board wipe, right? You just want to be able to then rebound right back after it and have something good to play when the other player does do it. So playing out a creature or two, it's totally fine. And, and that's, in the deck building phase, you can kind of put those creatures that will have that early value and then are kind of a little bit expendable even for that reason. So that's going to be helpful. Right after someone's been eliminated is a key moment in the game.
Yeah.
The first person goes out. Now the game is down to 3, or I guess down to 4, if you're a 5-person game. That's going to be huge because now the odds are way better for a person who can jump out to a quick sort of advantage, right, or a quick start or whatever. Because now there's less people to combat. So that first person, maybe now we all teamed up and we arch-enemied him and we took him out of the game because he was very threatening. But now it's time for us to turn it on in a big way. And if you can sort of weasel it out that the 2 people that you're playing with and teaming up with did sort of more of the work or expended a few more resources, then you're going to be looking good once that player is eliminated to come and bounce back.
Yeah. And then I think another time that's a good thing to keep an eye out is if someone is assembling a combo that will just win them a game.
Yeah.
You obviously we have to stop that. And I'm not talking about combos that are a good creature that can attack effectively with backup. And it's these 2 cards put together equal a win. Obviously, what's the point of laying low if you just give someone the win?
Exactly. This is actually similar to another thing I saw on Survivor. The idea of a shield, which is also interesting. So
what does that mean?
So the idea of a shield in Survivor is if there's a strong player in the game and you keep them in the game because later on they're going to seem like the biggest threat and they'll get voted out later.
Yeah.
So if there's a person that's assembling a combo and you know it and you know that they have a combo deck and everyone at the table knows it, pointing it out, it's oh, that's one piece of his combo. He's going for it.
He's the shield.
That can allow you to play out your most powerful thing. As long as it's not more threatening than what they're doing, no one's going to notice what you're doing. We're just going to know, hey, I'm doing this because I want to beat this guy. I want to beat the combo player. I got to do my stuff. And everyone's going to say, okay, no problem. So use that person as a shield.
That's exciting.
That's a cool thing to do. And okay, so that's it really, right? We're laying low. We're flying under the radar. We're still developing our board though. We're always still developing. Don't just take the turns off. And then at the key point, you're gonna turn the corner. You're gonna get that win. But there are exceptions. And I think we kind of mentioned one earlier where it's like Island, Soul Ring, Signet. Man, who doesn't want 5 mana on turn 2, right? And sometimes you look at your hand and you're like, wow, I can actually do stuff. I can play my commander and then do this, because I got this fast start. Take a fast start, right? It has a good fast start can sometimes lead to the victory because of this fast start. You're like, wow, I think I can actually arch enemy this for like a turn or 2.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll get out to such a fast start that no one will have their stuff yet, right? No one will have their board wipe. No one will have it. Another key thing, having the answer to a board wipe. Right, having the answer to something like that, or having your combo pieces together. These are reasons why you would get off to a really fast start, and why it would be very good. You can sneak the combo in before they're ready. We can respond like a counter spell or like one of those indestructible spells to like a counter to like a board wipe. That will help us for sure. If we keep that type of stuff in mind, you can definitely like get a blazing start off the game. And one of the other ways I like to do it is like I know I can kill someone. Like I've got the stuff to like take this person out pretty quickly. Do it, because then it's going to be way harder for just 2 people to come at you.
Step on necks.
Step on necks. We do say that a lot, and it is key. And if you're going for it, I think it's a good thing to know.
And let's not forget that like sometimes taking that fast start, like if you only ever lay low, then it'll start to become like people will start to figure it out. Yeah. So like sometimes take that fast start so that when you actually lay low, your opponents can't tell the difference between you choosing to and being forced to.
And I will say this, it all gets messed up in 5 people games. 5-person games are so much harder to do both of these things.
Yeah.
It's harder to get out to a fast start and win. It's also harder to like lay low and turn the corner because someone else is probably doing that too.
Yeah.
So it's tough, man. I almost feel like in a 5-person game, getting out to a fast start is really good because you'll get out to a fast start, get a big advantage, like build out a board, and then someone will knock you down, and then you'll be in like on the bottom kind of. But then someone else emerges, and then you know what I mean. Like it's just a longer game, so getting out to the fast start might actually end up being the better strategy there. But for 4-people games, I really think this is a great strategy.
Just consider it, right? Just just for nothing else, then consider those moments where you're like, my board is great. I don't need another thing down. Just hold it.
Exactly. Yep. Just hang on to it. All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for checking out this week's CB vlog. We'll see everyone next time. Check out Battle of the Brews, remember. Bye.
Bye. Big thanks to all our patrons who make these episodes possible.
Yeah, and if you want to check out more comedy videos, check out our Brews News playlist.
Make sure you follow us on Twitch TV to see when we play live.
If you want to chat with us, head over to Twitter. We're at Commanders Brew.
And please hit subscribe to ding the bell and find out when we got new stuff coming out.
See you next time.
Bye.